What is up, Pokeboys and girls? SnoozeVGC. We've all heard about the Super Sick Players Cup coming up for the May I See. How you qualify is basically being top 256 in your region. And the May I See is best of one. So what I wanted to do today was go over something, in my opinion, all right, don't shoot me for this, my opinion about things I think are good and best of one that may help you qualify if you want to like really try to cheese something out and qualify 256 before you get into the losers winners brackets and stuff like that in the IC. Okay, number one, and I think this is like this, so a lot of these things I think are really great at best of one. They also play a mind game into a best of two, a best of three, I mean, so if you think you're good at that stuff, then maybe this will work for you anyways. But the first one is Trick Room Tailwind Whimsicott. This I think is just incredibly cheesy to do Trick Room Tailwind Whimsicott. I just think it's just, you know, it's happened enough now on the ladder where I see a Whimsicott paired with something that is potentially slower than the partner I have with my Whimsicott, and I go, is this guy gonna just freaking Trick Room on my face, or is he gonna Tailwind like a normal person? And if they Trick Room and I Tailwind, then, you know, it's just, you're screwed. And it's like, what are you gonna do? Are you going to not Tailwind and let them just Dynamax their partner and just absolutely annihilate you? No. You're gonna Tailwind. Unless you know for a fact that you can't get O-code, you are going to Tailwind. So then they Trick Room, and then they win the game. Like, because you're faster. Even if they have a Trick Room check or counter, they're going to be faster because they're in Tailwind, which just allows you to proceed to sweep the game. So usually it's paired with, like, usually this has Focus Sash, right? I mean, it's Trick Room, and then some crap like Moonblast, and then Fake Tears, Protect, whatever you want. I personally like Protect on my Whimsicott just because lets you stall things out a little bit better, or draw a move in, like a Fake Out, and make a move on yourself. So it's up to you. But I think it's incredibly, I just think it's really cheesy. Personally, I know people really like it. I know. I'm sorry, I just don't. But it's great in best of one because your opponent will almost always expect you to Tailwind with your Whimsicott, and then you set up Trick Room, and then you're good to go. Another one that I've seen is Swoobat with the simple ability, so that those boosts you get from Dynamax are doubled. And it just makes it really powerful. People use it with Fling, so they Fling. I don't remember what berry it is, but it like helps raise speed or crit rate or whatever you want, and then it activates Weakness Policy, and then you just Sword Powered, and you can just like absolutely obliterate things with stored power even if they Dynamax, because it just becomes so incredibly powerful, which is crazy because its special attack is only 77, but its speed is actually pretty good, so you don't really have to worry about outspeeding too many things. So it's just like, yeah, just fling a berry onto it. People usually don't really know what Swoobat does, and so they don't really expect you to just stored power and just obliterate their Dynamaxed freaking Tyranitar, even though it's immune to psychic types. It doesn't matter because you just fling something onto it and it blew it up and it just didn't stand a chance. That's doesn't matter. You just hit stored power and win. Diggersby, in my opinion, is also a very best of one-ish because especially with Weakness Policy, Dragapult with Surf, bet, you know. You just boom, make this guy big. It's kind of like a poor man's Colossal in a way. It just hits a lot harder, and its speed is 78, which, you know, like, oh, that's not really that great, blah blah blah. But like, if you think about it, it kind of, in this meta, I feel like 78 is decent. And so you just do Diggersby, pair it with, you know, Ice Shard or Surf, Dragapult, and hit that Weakness Policy. Get the +2 in attack. And with huge power and a Weakness Policy, like, you really don't even do invest in anything to attack. Like, literally, this will just hit anything you want, and if it's not resisted, it'll either OHKO or bring it down to where it should be OHKO'd. And so you can just do like, you could even do just like tons in defenses, tons in like HP, and then it really will be super good. Another thing I think is super cheesy and best of one is Focus Sash Tyranitar, or, you know, because a lot of people expect weakness policy, right? And so they usually don't attack your Tyranitar, but sometimes they have like a Oko move or the Helping Hand, some crap into your Tyranitar. And and with the Focus Sash, you don't need a Dynamax, so you don't have to worry about Dynamaxing to live anything, to take the weakness policy. Blah, blah, blah. You just freaking stay on the field and you Dragon Dance some crap, or you Rock Slide, or you just bait them into trying to take down this Tyranitar when it has a Focus Sash. And so in a best of one, people don't ever see that coming, and it can really screw people up. Like, they might superpower into Tyranitar thinking that it'll, you know, one-shot it, and then Tyranitar lives, and they're able to get an attack off and, you know, Oko you back because you lowered your defenses. Not that that's ever happened to me. It's never happened. I've never had that happen to me. But think about it, if you really want something to catch them off guard in a best of one, use a Focus Sash Tyranitar. Now, Dracovish, I know, is consistently good in best of three, but in a best of one, I think it's also like way just too strong, because if your opponent doesn't have anything to stop Dracovish, or if you have something to pair with Dracovish, because here's the thing, right? You're like, oh, is it Choice Scarf? It has to be, right? Psych, it's Choice Band, and you paired it with Trick Room Whimsicott. Oh, you just win the game, you know? Like, it's just like, or like, oh, it's Iron Ball paired with Scary Face, Trick Rooms, Follow Me, Earth Power, and then you win the game. So Dracovish can be used in a lot of ways in the best of one. Choice Scarf, I think, as long as, you know, everybody else agrees, Choice Scarf is probably its best item. If they don't have anything to stop it, or if they don't have any speed control or any way to really stop you from hitting first, it doesn't matter what it is, it's taking at least 50% damage, if not just getting absolutely obliterated. It's super strong. Another Pokemon I think is really great in best of threes, but also really good in best of ones, is if your opponent isn't prepared for it, is Mudstell, either with like weakness policy, or like the swagger with own tempo, or we've seen it with stamina, right? We've all seen this stamina mixed with like, what's it called? What's that thing called? Shinchino with Skill Link, right? And you hit it with like the Tail Slap, and you just like hit the Assault Vest, hit the stamina, and then you like just invest like max in this, and then you get the max defense boosts in that, and then you just Dynamax and you close combat every move to get +3 in this, and so it's just, and then it just sits on the field the whole time. So something like that is, if you don't expect it, or if you don't know what it's going to do, is going to be really good in the best of one. But those like are just like some options that I think are like, if your opponent doesn't know what it's going to do, I'm telling you, Trick Room Whimsicott, that is best of one killer. If you want to just like absolutely screw somebody up, use Trick Room Tailwind Whimsicott, like, and then lead it with something that can work in Trick Room and with Tailwind. And if it hits hard, so like Duraludon, for example, lead that with Whimsicott. That's a popular lead. Tailwind, if you want, if it works for you, boom, hit them. If they have a Whimsicott as well, or some stupid crap, then you just Trick Room, and then they Tailwind, and then you're like, oh, well, darn, I guess I lose. So I really think if you're wanting to try to cheese some wins and really piss some people off, Trick Room Whimsicott's the way to go. You could even do Trick Room Whimsicott with weakness policy Diggersby, and freaking run absorb on here and absorb into your Diggersby and weakness policy, and you wouldn't even just win the game that way. So anyways, stupid video, but you know, Pokemon's stupid sometimes. Anyways, here's all the teams that I'm using. Enjoy.